Okay, so get ready to dive deep today because
Mhm.
we're tackling the most important relationship you have.
Ooh, intriguing.
Yeah, and it might not be the one you're thinking of. We're not talking about romantic relationships
Right. Right.
or even family. This deep dive is all about the relationship you have with, well, you.
Yourself.
Exactly. We've got this excerpt we're looking at today, and it's really making me think differently about, like, the whole self-love thing.
It's powerful stuff. The source actually claims that the relationship you have with yourself, it's like the
It's the
foundation.
foundation.
Yeah, for all your other relationships, all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
More than family. Like, I always thought family was...
I know, right? It sounds kind of counterintuitive at first, but think about it like this.
Yeah.
Imagine you're building a house. You need a strong foundation, right?
Yeah, definitely.
If the foundation's shaky, the whole house is going to be unstable. It could even crumble. It's the same with our relationships. Without a solid sense of self, the relationships we build with others, they're going to be built on shaky ground.
So you're saying, like, if you don't have that strong foundation within yourself, your other relationships could, like, fall apart.
Exactly. It's like, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're not taking care of yourself, if you don't have that self-love and respect, it's hard to give those things to others.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So let's break down what this excerpt is saying about how to build that strong foundation.
Sure. They talk about four main elements. It's kind of like a framework. There's self-respect,
Okay.
self-acceptance, self-trust, and, of course, self-love. And they all kind of work together.
Yeah, I can see that. So let's start with self-respect. What does that even look like in real life? I mean, it's easy to say, respect yourself.
Totally. But what does it actually mean, right? It's about setting boundaries, healthy ones.
Boundaries.
Yeah, like knowing what you're okay with and what you're not okay with, and having the strength to say no when you need to.
Okay, so if someone's always, like, letting people walk all over them, always saying yes,
Yeah.
that could be a sign they need to work on their self-respect.
It could be, yeah. It's like they're not valuing themselves enough to stand up for, what they believe in or what they need.
So where does self-acceptance come in? How is that different?
Well, self-acceptance is about embracing all of you, even the parts you might not love.
Oh, that's tough.
It is. It's about acknowledging, your flaws, your mistakes, those insecurities maybe.
Everyone has those.
Right, exactly. And not letting them define you. It's like being kind to yourself, like you would be to a friend.
Oh, okay. So it's like if you mess up, instead of beating yourself up,
Yeah.
you just accept that you're human.
Exactly. You learn from it and you move on. Self-acceptance is super important for like building that inner strength.
Okay, so we've got self-respect, self-acceptance. What about self-trust? What's that all about?
Self-trust it's about believing in yourself, in your ability to make good decisions.
Even when you're not sure.
Yeah, even when you're doubting yourself a little. It's about trusting your gut, your intuition.
So it's not about never asking for advice or never second-guessing yourself.
Right. It's more like weighing your options, listening to advice, but
Yeah.
ultimately trusting your own judgment.
Because you know yourself best.
Exactly. And self-trust goes hand in hand with self-love, actually.
Speaking of self-love, that's like everywhere these days, right?
It's a buzzword for sure.
But what does it actually mean in terms of this relationship with yourself?
Yeah. It's about like treating yourself with kindness, with compassion,
Oh.
prioritizing your well-being, like, doing things that bring you joy, nourishing yourself, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally too.
So it's not just bubble baths and face masks.
Well, those can be part of it
Yeah.
if that's what you enjoy, but it's deeper than that. It's about, recognizing your worth and treating yourself accordingly.
So it's like you're worth taking care of.
Exactly. And there's actually some really cool research on self-love. Studies have shown that practicing self-compassion, it actually activates reward centers in the brain. Yeah. It's similar to the feeling you get from like a hug or, eating a delicious meal.
So it's like scientifically proven to make you feel good.
It is. So it's not just, some fluffy feel-good concept. It's like wired into our biology.
That's really interesting. So this excerpt here also talks about the dangers of like seeking these things externally if you don't have them internally.
Right, right. That's a key point. Like if you're looking for validation from others or relying on them to make you happy, it's not going to work in the long run.
But isn't it normal to like want your loved ones to make you happy?
Of course, it's natural to want to feel loved and supported by the people in your life.
Right.
But there's a difference between healthy interdependence and like needing others to fill a void within yourself.
Oh, I see.
If you don't have that self-love, you might end up being like clingy or overly dependent on others to make you feel good.
And it's not healthy, right?
Not really. It can actually put a strain on your relationships.
Yeah. I'm thinking about times in my own life when I felt like insecure or unhappy in relationships.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, looking back, if maybe some of that was because I wasn't giving myself enough love.
It's a good question to ask yourself, right? Because like if you're already feeling good about yourself, you're not going to be as needy or as affected by what others think of you.
That's so true.
You're more likely to attract healthy relationships too because you're coming from a place of wholeness, not lack.
So the main takeaway here is that building a strong relationship with yourself, it's like the key to having healthy relationships with everyone else.
That's it. You can't give what you don't have. And the more you love and respect yourself, the more you'll be able to love and respect others.
This has been really eye-opening. So if you're listening, I want you to think about one thing. If you could improve just one aspect of your relationship with yourself, what would it be? Would it be self-respect, self-acceptance, self-trust, or maybe that all-important self-love? Is something to really ponder. And remember, this deep dive, it's just the beginning. This whole journey in self-discovery, it's a lifelong adventure.
And it's so worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep loving yourself.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.